Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight are DrFunctional,
Yo.
Geodes,
Ayo.
and I am not Jack Gunski.
My legs hurt.
Why do your legs hurt?
Exercise.
Oh. It wasn't like trying to get on your tippy toes and look through the window to like the girls' showers, like in Porky's or something. It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't part of some sort of Revenge of the Nerds panty raid that you were on.
Oh, if only.
If only.
Everyone was like, I always thought when I went to college that you were supposed to buckle down and study and get good grades. No, I should have been out there meeting women, Harry. I should have been picking up chicks, Harry. So
I still remember university days, and just two observations. One of them is a real joy in life is writing something for the university newspaper. One of them, and being in a coffee shop and listening to people complain about you. That is that is really, really a great feeling.
I can only imagine.
It was pretty good. It was pretty great. A not so great thing was when I realized, hey, I'm over 21. I can get a beer with lunch, and then I can do that. And so it's just like, I'm an adult. I'm gonna have a beer with my lunch. And then I went into a hot classroom and listened to a lecture on, God, what was it? Oh, it was like intermediate and abstract algebra. I mean, it was like really dry, so the last thing you want to do is like go into a hot room, get that slight beer headache where you have to concentrate on something you don't want to be doing. Yeah. So, you got to take the rough with the smooth, like they say sometimes. University's fun. I think the way the rules are set up now, it would be a lot harder to go looking for girls at university.
Yeah,
because the pickup culture thing has basically made it so 10% of the guys are getting 90% of the action all the time, and then there's the liability that you have with the way all the Title IX stuff is set up, where the universities are doing stuff that they're just fundamentally not organized to do, like be police and do investigations. They just don't know how to do any of that.
It's more or less illegal to date women now.
Yeah. More or less. Oh, well. Yeah, luckily, I made it out of university long before that was an issue. So, not a problem for me. So, do you have anything you want to share with the class before we get started, Jack?
Yeah. What's it called? Barbecue restaurants are a scam.
Okay, we're going to circle back to that because I want to say hello to it. That's going to take a while, and I want to... God, can we get Kefki on? Because I keep trying to convince Kefki to go to Interstate Barbecue. Because she's at least in the right state, right? She's not near there, but she's close enough. And so every now and then I'll sneak into her chat and remind her that there's a really good barbecue place where they have like smokes. Okay, now I'm doing it. Never mind. Hi, Geodes.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. Trying to kill a mosquito. Not going well so far, but I'll find him eventually. And I too remember university is not as doing all the wrong things and not picking up chicks. So there you go. Yeah, could be fun times, but no, I instead I got food poisoning. So there you go.
At university?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Our cafeteria was pretty bad. The Sonic down at the bottom of the hill had higher food quality than they did. So it was quite the ordeal.
So what's good at Sonic?
I got the diabetes shake. I don't know what it's called, but it's like 2,000 calories a pop.
Jesus.
It was really great if you need to stay up late researching, though. Like that would keep you awake. So
was it like a Mountain Dew slushie with maraschino cherry juice or something? What was it?
It was definitely kind of like I don't know. I guess it was basically like a sundae or like maybe like a slushie. But yeah, it was good. I don't know. I mean, there's no way you're going to go to bed after eating one of those things, because you probably would have just been like, oh no, I can't lay down. There's too much activity in the stomach.
Yeah, you don't want to be horizontal after after doing that.
Yeah.
No,
But
no, you definitely don't want to do that.
No.
Sonic looks like a place that does everything well except for burgers. I get the impression that their burgers are not great, which is kind of a shame since they seem to do such a good job on their other stuff.
Yeah, I can't speak much to their burgers. I never got their burgers, as I recall. So, because yeah, by that point, I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to order what I want. So,
Yeah, I bet Functional knows where to find a good burger.
I bet.
Jeez.
Do you? I mean, are you kind of a perfectionist about stuff like hamburgers? Because I know I kind of am. If I'm going to poison
What do you
myself,
mean?
I'm going to make it be. I'm going to make it be good.
What do you mean?
Well, like, do you grind your own meat? Haha, giggity. For the hamburgers, or
Often and as repetitively as possible.
yeah, me too.
No. I mean, sometimes you just grab a half a pound or whatever from the grocer. It's easy. It's there. It's freshly ground.
My grocer does a very good job, but there's a lot of places where I just would be like, nah, I'm not going to use that.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, with more commercial groceries up here than there are like the small butchers and everything. They're kind of either closing shop or they're just so outrageously expensive. It's not even worth looking at them. Never mind buying from them.
Mm-hmm.
But the grocers do a pretty decent job. I mean, it's all fresh cut. They all have a team of capable men in the back chopping up meat and grinding up meat, and it's good. Don't I try as best and like if you can stay away from it completely. That prepackaged stuff, like the vacuum sealed prepackaged stuff that comes from a distributor somewhere
Mm-hmm.
and then goes to the store because
The meat of 1,000 cows in every bite.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, thank you. What, you don't want mad cow disease?
It was really, since we're talking about animals, it was really cool. Today it was a pretty cool windy day. We had a really nice wind coming off the Great Lakes, Lake Ontario, and Elwin and I were out on the balcony having a cigarette, and we look up and I saw the neighborhood falcon, and he was up there. He was gliding like really close, like 30 feet away from my head. Just chilling in the wind and having a good time. And captured a little bit of video of it, but I don't know what it is. But it was really cool to watch because where I live, there's a great big green space on one side of my building and a ravine on the other.
Mhm.
So there's lots of like local wildlife. And the more hawks we can have, even though they're fairly territorial, the better, because I mean, living in a big city, you have a pigeon problem, and pigeons' two natural enemies are falcons and owls. You're not going to get a lot of owls in the big city because it's too bright at night and it's too loud at night. So they tend to kind of like stay away. So it's good because pigeons are fucking vermin and they need to be eradicated. Kind of like commies.
Well, owls are weird. I like owls, first of all. I mean, I think
Owls
they're
are awesome.
pretty great birds. But there are these endangered owls here in California, these burrowing owls. And the theory is that humans bad, and they're just absolutely terrible for the burrowing owls. The trouble is that the owls that like to avoid humans keep ending up under things like railroad tracks. Like the owls will burrow down and just make like a little nest underneath the railroad tracks, because they tell us one thing, that they just don't like being around people, but they seem to not care from what I can tell. You know, what my eyes are telling me is that the burrowing owls don't care that much. There was another place that I know of where they were doing some government work, and they were rerouting traffic around these burrowing owls because they had a nest that was right next to the road. And it's like, well, wait a second. Having the trucks drive by is probably not that big an issue because they literally put their nest right next to there. There's all this open space that they could have used, out like in the Baylands area of San Francisco Bay, but instead they chose to be right next to the road. It's like, I think humans don't really understand the burrowing owls, but actually all owls are pretty awesome. I like them a lot, but hawks are neat. They're actually pretty neat, swell birds. Did I tell you about? God, I can't remember if I
They
showed
definitely
this
are
last time.
like kings of their own domain. Like, because nothing around here outside of human involvement or whatever, like nothing out here like is their predator, like preys on them.
Did I tell you about kestrels?
No.
Yeah, these guys,
Oh yeah, windfucker.
aka windfuckers or fuckwinds. I'm not sure how far back you have to go for that particular bit of etymology to kick in, but yeah. So, 16th century, yeah, windfuckers. Yeah, why not?
Can I just say I would rather be called a wind fucker than a fuckwind?
Yeah, absolutely. Because fuckwind is too close to fuckwit.
Whatever you say, fuckwind.
That's right.
Well, they're weird because they're like I just said, they don't have any real natural predators except that they're fairly territorial with one another. So they need a fairly large space, or else they kind of get a little feisty with one another, and eventually one will move off. And the problem is when they eat something like a pigeon, they'll probably only eat 1 or 2 a week. So it's not really enough to keep up with like vermin like that. I wish, oh my god, I wish they would eat some of these little fucking yapper dogs. Oh my god, I hate them so much.
You need bigger raptors for that. The hawk's probably
no,
not.
Hawks will eat the really little ones. We do
Yeah.
have the occasional pack of coyotes that come through, because like I said, my city is such a way that it goes from like green space, and then there's these little veins of the green space that go all throughout the city. So the animals have a relatively safe, familiar surrounding to basically go from the north end or the northeast or northwest or whatever, all the way down to the downtown core. And that's when the people start freaking out, like, oh my god, there's a raccoon, or there's a raccoon at Sam's, or there's a coyote that ate my little fucking frou-frou dog that is so low on the fucking animal hierarchy that I'm afraid a cockroach might eat this thing. Like, it's kind of funny. It's cute too, because like I spend a lot of time in the ravines and green spaces of my city, and I have seen some of these animals. It's fun to come across.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is the Roadrunner. Love those birds. They're great. They're the best pest control you could ever ask for. One of the times I went out to watch one, it was carrying a mouse and beating its head into the concrete. They give no fucks.
That's awesome.
Fucking incredible.
So, Jack, you wanted to talk about how barbecue is a scam.
Yes, barbecue
my
is a scam,
God.
Harry.
Okay, so just before we do that, I just want to show you. Here's my alt account that I use just because I set this up just to torture people. It started out as Pluto is not a planet.
Well, hold on.
No, this is about barbecue. This is about
Yeah,
barbecue.
I know. I need to clarify my position though.
Okay.
Barbecue joints are a scam.
No,
Barbecue
right.
itself-
That's fine.
Whoa.
That's fine. So, but then I made it
Better not be
sunfish
talking
are
about
terrible,
Jones.
and I was used that to taunt Sora. The first one was to taunt Jenna. Pluto is not a planet. Now it's for Kefki, and I have this. The Interstate Barbecue Appreciation Society is now the name of my alt channel. So,
Wow.
tell me about where the barbecue restaurant touched you.
Well, it's not really. I mean, first of all, there's this. I went to a barbecue place, and first of all, there's the fake atmosphere. Like, they try to look like a hole in the wall, and so they design all of this crap around being a hole in the wall, and it just comes off as fake.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like
There's that-
it's like a TGI Fridays flair thing, but
Yeah.
with sauce on it. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the second problem is that they way upcharge barbecue. I mean, barbecue is originally supposed to be cheap cuts of meat prepared in such a way that it makes it the most delicious thing imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I can make my own barbecue for about a quarter of the price, maybe even less than that, than any of these barbecue joints. I can make 4 racks of ribs today in 6 hours for
Mhm.
about $40. The same thing at an equivalent barbecue joint would probably cost me 150 to 200.
Well, do you have an offset smoker?
I don't have an offset smoker. I do have a smoker though.
Oh, you have a smoker?
Yes.
Like one of those chimney smoker things?
It's an electric smoker.
Oh, you have an electric smoker. Which one did you get?
The master build.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, then you actually can do that. Now, most people,
Yeah, what the
to
fuck
be
are you
fair,
complaining about?
most people, to be fair, cannot do what you do with that smoker.
I not only can I do it, I literally have done it.
No, that's why I
many
asked.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and what's more, I'm good at it. I accidentally tripped over something that I'm pretty good at.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't pay super well. But now, functional, when you were in the restaurant business, what percentage was food cost for when you were there? Because I know it changes over time, so I'm curious what number you guys would use for planning.
It depends on the restaurant.
Yeah, but there's sort of general guidelines like food cost, liquor cost is usually around a third. Food cost is usually like around 20 to 25%.
I was gonna say, depending on the restaurant, between 10 to 30%.
Yeah. So the fact that there's like a 4x markup on the cost of the meat is
That's not that bad, actually.
That's actually not that bad. That's totally surprising. It might be a ripoff for you, but not for a lot of other people, I don't think.
Yeah, because you could do it at home and you are apparently good at it. So, I mean, you're just flexing your fucking barbecue privilege there, pal. And point of personal privilege. No. I mean, like you're lucky you invested in that. You know how to do it. I mean, I don't see at what point you would want to go to a joint like that. It's like when Harry asked me about the burgers, like. Yeah, I mean, the only time we really get burgers is when y'all know I'm a bit of a cripple, so it's basically the point where I cannot cook. So gotta have something quick. I like burgers. I'm gonna order. We're gonna get burgers from somewhere, as opposed to like I'd rather any day of the week, every day of the week, make my own because I know how and I'm damn good at it. So I don't think. See, because you're making a broad generalization that these barbecue joints are kind of a scam. Not all of them are. I will tell you, a lot of them probably are because they're not doing proper barbecue. They're probably broiling with a barbecue sauce and or rub, and that's not barbecue.
I think the place I went to is probably legitimate barbecue.
Yeah.
But you're right about the
I have a
kitsch and
favorite
stuff.
place here in the city that's actually, it's not Korean barbecue. It's just Korean owned, but they do really good Southwest American barbecue, and it is fucking phenomenal. The first time I was there, I actually asked them if I could see their setup in the back because I was still a chef at the time, and he let me poke my head in the back, and oh man, they had this amazing setup where. It was a 2-floor building, but the sort of back half of the second floor was just roof, and it was all these chimneys to allow the smoke to get up. Because again, you got to think this is in the core of a densely populated city, so they were really creative with how they got away with this. But the head chef actually learned about all this down in the Southwest United States, probably northern Texas, if I remember, or something like that. And so he learned it and then brought it up to here. And it's not Korean barbecue, but they do the Southwest barbecue, and then they give you like Korean barbecue sides, like coleslaw with a Korean twist. It was so weird, but it was so good. Like,
If it's clearly labeled as fusion, I can get behind it, but
it's not really fusion.
I really don't
the
like
meat
it.
Is pretty traditional Southwestern barbecue.
Yeah, I hate around here. You'll have a restaurant and it'll be Italian, right? So it's a pizza place, and then it gets sold, and then suddenly there's new people there, and there's egg rolls on the menu. It's like, okay, I like egg rolls, I like pot stickers, I just don't want them being served at my barbecue place. If you guys wanted to open that kind of restaurant, do that. But I feel that like a restaurant should really stay true to its DNA. And I don't like weird crossing of the streams unless it's like very well done and it's intentionally like a fusion thing.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, like I said, the coleslaw was fantastic. It was kind of a typical coleslaw, but it just had like shoestrings of some kimchi in it, and it kind of just added a little kick to it. Oh,
so the people who run this place, I actually kind of hate. Now I hate them as people, not because of their barbecue. It's a story from another time, but maybe I'll get into that later. But this is like what you get in California, and of course, they're talking about in the middle of Winchester Boulevard in San Jose. There's no Western barbecue anything there, right? It's all just fake. It's like Disneyland for candied meat, right, Jack? I mean, this is just. It kind of bugs me too. I mean, I think I see your point, but if you think barbecue's expensive where you are, let's see how much it is for a barbecue meal at this place.
Sweet Jesus.
Because these guys are very expensive. Okay, so let's see, 4 ribs, half rack or a full rack. A full rack of ribs is $46 there.
Yep.
Yeah, bend over, here it comes again. That is that is a terrible price. So or.
Can I just say, if you've never, and this applies to people in the audience, if you've never done smoking before and you have like 4 square feet of space outside somewhere, you can get an electric smoker. I bought mine on Craigslist for $100. It is dead simple to use, and it pays for itself after like 3 uses. So
and remember, folks,
give it a shot.
She pokes.
Well, there's also pellet smokers that some people like, and some people get an actual stick burner, and each of them has advantages and disadvantages, which we do not have time to get into. Plus, people get annoyed at me when I talk about food for too long. By people, I mean the chat. Let's see if they're complaining. Okay. Wait. So, Assassin says I can't not tell the story. Okay, I'll tell the story. Bunch of my barbecue buddies and I, because I used to go eat barbecue every Friday with the same group of friends for like over a decade. And we went to this place that was kind of expensive even by California standards. They were charging, at the time, this was pretty darn expensive, like $27, $28 for a 2-meat barbecue combo. And so we all go there, and the annoyances just sort of start. It's cash only, and they obviously took themselves really seriously. And to be fair, they had like extremely good quality meat that went into the barbecue. And one of my friends asked for a substitution on one of the sides. He just didn't want cornbread or something. It was like a really minor thing, not a big thing that should have put them out. And they said, yeah, we can do that, but it's a $1.50 substitution charge. And they said that with a straight face, and we just said, excuse me? Because it was like so much money. And I can't remember which of it was that got incensed. He said, you're really going to charge us after this much money just to substitute 2 of the sides at a barbecue place? You're going to actually charge us at $1.50? He's like, never mind. And we ate our food and never went back there. The problem is that same group of people have gone on to, that same family has gone on to open restaurants all around the area. So a number of them are actually owned by this family. I went to one of the other ones later, like 10 years later, and told them the story and said, yeah, that was ridiculous, and I haven't been back yet, but I wanted to give this a try. And he said, oh, no, we were right to do that because substitutions, he started going off. It's like, I said, believe it or not, I said, I'm a customer. I'm standing in front of you telling me about something that annoyed me so much I didn't come back for 10 years, and you're going to stand there and tell me that you were justified. That's what you're choosing to do right now. I walked out. And now whenever a new barbecue place opens up, I check to see if that family runs it. And if they do, I don't go there. Okay. Yeah, I am vindictive as hell.
I honestly don't blame you. That's kind of dickish.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is the truth. I swear that's the truth. That is like what happened.
Harry runs them through the meat grinder like the hamburger that we talked about earlier.
Practices like that are indicative of practices overall. They're what do you call it? They're like indicators. They're litmus tests. And so if you're willing to do something like that that's really dickish, what else is your company willing to do that's really dickish?
If they were a place that was running on really small margins, and there's a lot of times where like on a price fix menu, you absolutely couldn't do that, right? I understand that's not a thing, but this is like a barbecue place and you're literally just saying, I don't want cornbread, can I get more beans instead? You know, that kind of thing. The sides are totally cheap. They don't cost anything. It is not a problem for them to do that, but they're just so far up their own ass that they can't see logic. I was genuinely mad. I'm getting angry just thinking about it. So let me stop. Let me stop thinking about it now. Because okay, cleansing breath, happy trees.
I will. I do have a food story that maybe we can talk about later if we want. But yeah, it's kind of similar.
It's up to you now. I mean, if you want to tell it now, you can. Otherwise, we can do it later.
It's pretty short. I took my buddies to a Japanese food place. It's like authentic Japanese, like but is where they like cook the food on the stove in front of you and then serve you on plates where they scoop it up off the grill. And it was in the middle of summer. It was dead hot. I was really excited because it took me forever to persuade them to go here. And the waitress that we were working with, she's like, "Well, you want a drink?" I said, "Oh, I'd like green tea," which was like this, like it was a super heated beverage. And she goes, "No green tea, way too hot. You're going to get water." And then she basically argued with me, saying why she was not going to get me green tea. And I just kind of sat there stunned. Ended up going with the water because I was just like, I all right. And then meanwhile, my buddies had ordered a very specific dish, and they had a family next to them that had also ordered that dish. They served almost all the food to the family, and we got very minor portions in exchange. So we never went back there after that. We were just like, holy crap. So
yeah, Assassin said after that second encounter, I would have ensured they needed the fire insurance. I just keep hoping that they put themselves out of business. And there's actually some other places that have opened up since that are really exceptionally good. So I don't even have to think about them now because it's like you're just the inferior places that I just don't eat now. And good riddance, and please go out of business, you sons of bitches. So did you wanted to talk about so Geodes before I pass this talking stick over to Functional, because the thing Functional is going to do might take a while. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Doing something?
no.
Well, you wanted to complain about Star Wars, didn't you? For like not 2 hours, but I feel like we want to circle back to the Acolyte or something, don't we?
Oh God, no! I'm not gonna waste my time talking about that filth.
Okay.
I said no. You misunderstood. I said if it was just the two of us, and you felt like, or you were mentioning you didn't want to do a 2-hour monologue, I'd be like, well, no, because I could just as easily sit there and talk about Star Wars for 2 hours, and there's not a goddamn thing you could do about it. But then I realized, well, actually, you're the show host, so you could do something about it if you wanted to. I will say though that I started doing, you know me, I like to watch things, I like to rewatch things. I started the whole this week the whole Star Wars thing. So in chronological order, going through things and doing my best to sit through some of them, but like there's just some shit I have to veto, like a lot of the Jedi babies and you know, like a lot of the really kidsy stuff I'm just not into. There was like the Clone Wars movie, which I turned off halfway through. It's Anakin and Ahsoka like saving Jabba's son. It's some of the dumbest shit. Rebel that show of Clone Wars was like half good, half just like nonsense, and most of it had to do with Ahsoka. But it was actually pretty decent for what it was, a kids show. But so my point is, I watched Rogue One again today, and I just had to say like how much I appreciate the third act of the movie, because it is probably some of the best Star Wars we've gotten since the Disney acquisition. It's just a shame that the first two acts were just, they're so boring and so uninteresting. I don't care about fucking Jyn Erso. I don't fucking care about Cassian Andor. I don't fucking care about Rey Palpatine. I don't care about any of these people. And that's not my fault. That's the storyteller's fault.
I think you're just
Because-
threatened by strong, powerful, independent women.
I am, because you know what? Princess Leia, like, she could wear that bikini and, like, choke me out any day. And that scares me
Mhm.
that I would allow that to happen. No, but I mean, because, like, just thinking of, because obviously I had to start with the prequels, George Lucas prequels. And yeah, Phantom Menace was really crap. Part 2, for all its faults, I still loved it. And Part 3 was the best out of all of that. But even in the first one, you know, even though 3PO is supposed to be this annoying sort of storytelling device through a character, kind of throughout all the Skywalker saga, I still cared what happened to him. I still cared what happened to little Annie, even though I found him fucking insufferable. I still cared that at least a little bit, that, you know, Watto got what he deserved. Like, care is maybe I was still interested to know where these characters start and end up. You know, like, it's interesting to watch the development. I may or may not, like, actually genuinely care about them, but I hope you know my meaning with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my Star Wars rant for the week.
I remember seeing Rogue One. I thought it was actually pretty decent.
It is.
I mean,
it really is. It's
compared to all the other new stuff, it was a real standout.
Everybody I knew who watched it thought it was pretty good. So
Yeah.
I've been tempted to, but my problem was that I tapped out with The Force Awakens. So I was like, I'm not even interested. So.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Andor because that comes before Rogue One, but it disinterests me so fucking much that I'm just like, okay, this needs to get vetoed. And then I watched Rogue One, and then I tried to put Andor on again, but then I was like, this is so fucking boring. I'm just gonna go paint and do whatever with it in the background. And normally when I have something on the background, I'm still paying attention. I'm still listening to it. And I completely, like, 3 hours passed, I completely forgot that I even had it on, and I'm like, yeah, I can't sit through this stuff. It's so, ugh.
Yeah. Huh. So shall we start the planned activities? Everybody had a good chance to talk. I think we're ready to move on to the schedule.
Nix, you got something to say? No.
No. See?
Okay.
All right. Discretion is a
Use the
better part
string
of valor.
mouse. She's
So
looking at me weird. She normally, like, will come up and, like, start squeaking in the microphone.
Hey, Harry, how
Hey.
about you? How has your day been?
my
Has
day.
anything interesting happened to you?
That's
No.
a good point, Jack Gunski. Maybe I should talk over Harry so he can't respond.
No, nothing good has happened to me. Did anything happen to me this week that was good?
Nothing interesting this week?
No. Had to do the there's a place that I rent so I don't have to drive back and forth all the time because home and work are separated by a good distance, right? And I work some pretty long days, so I have a place that I stay. But unfortunately, the slumlords fired the sort of incompetent guy who didn't bother me, which was great because if I needed somebody to say, I need this, and then fix it, and then they'd show up and they'd fix it. And otherwise, they would leave me alone, which was great. But now they've decided that they're going to fire him and then bring in some new eager people and just lift their leg on everything and mark their territory. So what they did was what I like to sort of think of as a rental colonoscopy, because it was just this painful, intrusive thing where they show up with like cameras and look at everything. God, what a pain in the ass. Maybe this is just one of those Gen X things, but I just find such things to be weirdly violating. And I think that younger people don't care so much about stuff like privacy. I just don't want somebody coming into my home, like essentially threatening me and saying, we're going to come into your home and we're going to poke around at stuff and tell you that you suck and all that sort of stuff. And I did, the reaction I got from them was, how long have you been renting this place and how is it in this good a shape? I mean, that's what they said. I said, because I've actually, if there's been a problem, I've just fixed it. And I've actually, put little protectors underneath things so they don't screw up the floors and everything was fine. So, I mean, I passed it. But I just found it to be really annoying.
Check out the beat while the DJ revolves it.
I mean, how often do you have to deal with your property management people very often?
No, they're my parents.
No, I was talking to
no,
functional.
because they intentionally avoid doing any and all of their legal responsibility.
But if there's a problem, you're going to tell them to get on it.
Yes, but whether or not they say anything about it is something completely different, which they...
Are you rent controlled?
Yes.
Yeah, that might have
But-
something to do with it. They're probably trying to do as little as possible, I'm guessing.
Well, they do nothing, so I mean...
That's just,
but
that's
it's not
little.
legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did my week go? It was annoying. It was cleaning, not getting enough sleep, annoying meetings, a bunch of work stuff. The stuff that I'm doing for work is pretty interesting, but it's so niche that I would be doxing myself if I talked about it on stream, so I can't. I wish I could, honestly, but I just can't. So, with that, let's move on to the next thing. So I'm going to do a quick RIP. Now, I am not like sports fan number one, and I am not. I know that an actor died too, but when even somebody like me who's not a big sports person knows about Willie Mays. He was like the quintessential old-timey baseball player. A lot of people bring up Babe Ruth. You could totally make the argument that Willie Mays was one of, if not the best baseball players. Now, I know you guys are probably not big into sports ball and stuff, but he was such a class act that he would, be in the community and play stickball with the kids and stuff, especially when he was in New York. So I just have like a small clip about what he was like back in the day before he became a San Francisco Giant, back when he was in New York with the New York Giants.
Nice.
Willie Mays was perfect. Had it all, and he could make you go back to your childhood too. Mm-hmm.
We'll have to pause a couple times.
You would think of him as a child. You know what I mean? Playing ball in the streets. He's a major league ball player. He's playing stick ball in the streets with kids.
Yeah, and he did stuff like that later too. I mean, he wasn't just a great baseball player, he was a great human being.
In Harlem. Can't beat that, huh? You can't beat this. This is major league. This is America at its best.
When he played
really
stickball in the morning time, they knock on my one at 9 o'clock. So I had 30 minutes to go and eat, get out there and play stickball for about, maybe an hour, 2 hours. And then we didn't have any losers. We would go to the coffee shop, which is on the corner. I buy everybody ice creams with about maybe 20 or 30 guys, and then I'm going down to the ballpark.
Which cost him
from
about
there.
like $5.
Well, he was making $160,000 a year. This was before free agents, right?
Yeah, I know,
And
but
so
to
he
buy,
did that
like,
for like
30
22
people ice
years.
cream
Yeah, so for him that was not a problem.
Probably like $5 today. It would be like 500.
But even after he retired from baseball, he went in and became a businessman, did a lot of stuff. He still plays softball for charity and do other stuff. I mean, he was probably busier after he retired than he was, because he was running his own businesses and he was really successful. But he's never, as far as I know, he's never done anything except be a complete class act. And I've never heard anybody say one bad thing about the guy, ever.
Fun story, actually. I know. When O.J. Simpson was a kid, and I think he was just beginning his, football career, was it? I'm not.
The juice is football, yes.
Yeah. He had gone into some trouble already with the law back then. They took him to Willie Mays rather than take him to jail to try and see if they could have Willie Mays help straighten him out. Didn't work, obviously. Yeah, but it was just one of those things where it's like, I mean, that's the kind of guy that Willie Mays was.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Charming personality, excellent knife skills.
Man.
He should have become a cook. He could have been a celebrity cook, but no. Yeah. But anyway, it's kind of sad. But the guy had a long, full life. I mean, you can only get so sad about somebody who's had a long, full life, right? At a certain point, you're just feeling bad for yourself. Because it's just like, oh no, Willie's gone. That means, my time is running out too. I'm gonna be genuinely not in good shape when Shatner dies. That's gonna not be a fun day for me.
Well, it's less that you're sad that the person died, and more that you're sad. It's like you're not going to see someone of this caliber again.
Yeah, and you're also sad because the world that you knew and liked is disappearing to be replaced by something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into that mix of stuff. But anyway, good job, Willie Mays.
It reminds me of a Tom Lehrer quote. Take a drink, everyone. It's a sobering thought that by the time Mozart was my age, he'd been dead for 2 years.
There's the Monty Python song, "The Decomposing Composers," which is also pretty great.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll play that sometime. I don't know. I really don't want to get copy struck. I'm already showing anything that had anything to do with Major League Baseball. We're already on a ragged edge, I think. So, talking about space, Starliner, it goes up, but it's having a little trouble coming back down. They had 5 helium leaks trying to get this darn thing into orbit, and now they've been thinking about, well, when are you guys going to come back from the International Space Station? How about July? They're still trying to work out how to get them back down. I don't think this is going particularly well for Boeing. I mean, they didn't die on the way up. That was great. But the fact that we're not quite sure we can get this thing safely back down to Earth, let's take a few weeks to think about it while you hang out on the ISS, seems suboptimal.
There's only so many times you can use the excuse of that's not a bug, it's a feature, before
Yeah, and I mean, are we going to send up an unmanned SpaceX capsule to pick them up and bring them home? If they,
I mean, they very well could. They've successfully completed launch 250. Or sorry, touch back, recapture 250.
250 successful drone ship landings.
Which is fucking like what?
That's pretty amazing.
That is so just mind blowing that it could just touch down like that.
Honestly, I was pessimistic that they'd be able to pull this off because it's not what you would call an easy problem.
No, I mean, there are obviously, it is easier than manned spacecraft, or I should say orbital craft, because, there's a lot less that you need to involve, like life support type systems and all that kind of stuff. But it's still an amazing feat nonetheless, and it is helping to get his SpaceX's satellites up there, the Starlinks and the whatnots.
Yeah, well, they're not the only outfit that's got things going well. Also, as much as it pains me to say this, the French Rocket Labs is a French private company, and they just launched some more satellites on their 50th launch. So
Nice.
Even the French Electron rocket is actually kicking ass. 50, yes. Yeah. I almost said C.
Can I just say, if the rocket doesn't have a beret on top, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
No, but there's a baguette in the. Never mind.
It's actually fueled with a mixture of spite and ennui.
Yeah.
The French. Sorry, I was thinking of that Orson Welles wine commercial. You guys know the one I'm talking about, right? Oh, the French. Yep. Good times. I need to just add that to my soundboard.
I'll briefly divert us, Harry, but you can bring us back on track. I actually introduced somebody to the Wilkins coffee commercials. Not that long. They had so much fun with that.
Nice. No, those are good.
I've tried exposing people to the Superguile, but they just don't.
How dare you?
They don't get it. Do you explain to
they
them
don't
that?
get it.
Do you explain to them that guile also means horny? It can mean sexy. It can mean horny. If you don't know the language a little bit, the joke, you only get half the joke. That's that's the problem. And it can also mean cheap. Yeah, it's such a versatile word in German.
They're very efficient people, I hear.
Yeah. I like Germans. Germans are fine. So, also in space news, but probably file this under
A
BS.
group of researchers say they've identified at least 7 stars that might be surrounded by super advanced alien megastructures known as Dyson spheres. Yes, I said alien structures, and I know what you're thinking, but just stay with me here because
No, I'm not going to stay with you. Okay, so Scott Adams had a theory about this, and he basically said that every time Biden does something that makes himself look bad, look forward to hearing about more UFO disclosures. He was actually thinking about, well, what are they going to disclose after Biden does a bad job in the debates? You know, probably just trot out some UFO stuff. It's like, oh, look here, shiny UFO bauble. I would like to live in a universe where there's like super advanced civilizations building Dyson spheres. That would be really interesting. But the idea that we're just going to reach out and find 7 of them even with our telescopes the way they are now seems unlikely.
I don't know if I go that far, but I would like to live in a universe where we're not all on one planet. That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know, not eggs all in one basket kind of deal. You know, so.
I would feel like if you were advanced enough to build something like a Dyson sphere, you could use fusion technology and other things to have a more orderly power source, because stars are not exactly simple and easy things to live with. They vary their output, they use up all their fuel, and then they blow up. You know, there's a lot of things that can kind of go wrong. And
basically what you're saying is that this is the scientific equivalent of saying I wouldn't want to belong to a club with someone like me in it.
I guess if you know, because you can create, if you were to create the star too, right? Or find a star that's just like boring, you know, kind of on the red side, probably going to live for, 20 billion years, doesn't do anything particularly interesting. And then you just build like a small Dyson sphere around it. That could be kind of okay, I suppose. But to take something like our sun and build a Dyson sphere around it, you do all that construction, and then after 5 billion years, then the damn star is no good, and you have to throw the whole thing away. It's kind of like an electric car. When the battery goes out, it's like, oh well, you better just start over, because that's like the one part you can't replace. So I don't know. I like the idea of Dyson spheres, and Ringworld, the book by Larry Niven, is an extremely good book, and I totally recommend it.
I've read it.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was very good. I found the luck breeding concept to be interesting. I heard someone else once say that they didn't care for it so much, but I liked it.
Well, Larry Niven is more of a hard science writer, and it's nice to read something that isn't infested with fantasy.
Yeah.
Because as much as I like the series on Apple TV, Foundation, you got to say that at a certain point, some of the stuff is getting very magic-y in spots.
Yes.
Yeah. The non-math parts, but the psi stuff. Just because it sounds like science doesn't mean that it is. Psionic or psi powers are really basically magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew a guy, going back to the whole college conversation, I knew a guy who wanted to research dark matter so we could emulate Mass Effect, like the video games. And I'm sitting there going like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, could find some. Sure, why not? Are you guys familiar with the TV show Sanford and Son?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I can bring this up here. Somebody had some fun with AI, and they produced something which I thought was actually kind of cool. So he actually took Trump and other political figures and overlaid them on episodes of Sanford and Son, and it ends up being better than you might expect. Don't do that. Let's see. There's a list of just Nancy Pelosi ones.
Bing bong bong bing bing bing.
I love this one.
Just what I needed now. A wino and a rhino.
That fits so beautifully.
It's so good. This is an excellent.
Pop, you gonna help me with this garden now? Son, I did my part. I got us a scarecrow. This is guaranteed to scare away slugs and snails and birds.
Don Jr.
Just remember that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Hallelujah! And you remember when you look in the mirror tonight, the Lord gave you that face and you stuck with it.
Now there's a bunch of them,
love
and
that channel.
they're pretty damn good. I have to say I really enjoyed them a lot. Oh, the Hillary episodes. I hadn't seen that one.
Bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
Furthermore, I need a new window shade for my bedroom.
What's wrong with the old window shade?
It will not roll up.
Well, that don't make no difference because ain't nothing outside the window for you to see, and I'm sure anybody outside don't want to look in.
Is that an insult?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm such a child. I actually watched, I think, every video this person made instead of doing work when I found this week.
Oh, I miss doing that. I miss like going through an entire channel's
Just
catalog.
falling down the rabbit hole.
Yes. I love doing that.
Yeah, pretty good. Anyway, that was a thing I enjoyed today. That's what we call a palate cleanser, Jack. Mm-hmm. Okay. Although we're not really doing anything super serious, so I'm not sure we needed a palate cleanser, but I needed to do that because it makes me happy. So, and I deserve it.
Your palate's been cleansed.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. So Biden bans Kaspersky. Have you ever heard of Kaspersky antivirus? Well,
Yes.
it sounds Russian, so they banned it. And
Yeah.
I think that might be the entire process behind it. It's like, well, it's in Russia, so maybe we shouldn't trust it, so let's just not let it be on our country. It's like, okay. I don't know of any evidence that they've done anything or that anybody found any problems with it. It's just it sounded too Russian, so there's like, no, we won't let you be involved in computer security in the
They
U.S.
probably weren't paying the big guy the 20% they demanded of them. So yeah.
Well, you make an excellent point.
It's very interesting to see how we've tried to, I don't know, soft cancel economically Russia in the way that we have. I mean, I will say, Caleb from the Low Cedars, when he went over there and was showing like, yeah, all the stores were closed down for a lot of American businesses, but the lights were still on, so technically they were still paying the bills and stuff like that. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Well, it would be great if there wasn't a war, right? I would like there not to be a war. I wish this had never happened. I don't want to pick sides between Ukraine and Russia. I don't want a bunch of people dying. It's just like I wish it just wasn't happening.
It's uniquely frustrating because the countries that have the worst governments often have the most interesting people.
Mm-hmm.
Like Russians are interesting. Have you ever seen like videos of a Russian guy doing some crazy shit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm looking at the chat. Nothing about Donald Sutherland. That is true. There is nothing about Donald Sutherland. I have not put something together. At the rate fantastic people are dying, I could probably spend the entire show just talking about, okay, well, we lost this person today. But yeah, Donald Sutherland was an outstanding actor, but I didn't have time to put anything together for him.
Yeah.
And Jack, this is a completely cheeky, breaky free zone. So take your commie shit elsewhere.
Yeah, commies.
No. I mean, you
No.
are right. There are some very interesting aspects of the various cultures within Russia. I have a lot of Russian friends. We've had a lot of specifically Russian and Ukrainian immigrants in the late 80s, early 90s here. And yeah, I mean, some of it's the architecture too. Oh my God. I fucking love some of their stuff. I don't know what it's called because I didn't study it proper, but I I've seen pictures.
I'm not a huge fan of their music, honestly. I mean, I definitely gravitate more toward Europe than Russia and the Eastern Bloc in terms of things that I like and appreciate. But I have to say, I really enjoy Russian people and their sense of humor. I love the Russian sense of humor.
Like borscht.
Yes, I like the Russian sense of humor. I like there's like a Florida aspect to Russian people that I think is awesome.
And Ukrainian women are hot, so
Yes.
Just give the most superficial analysis possible.
Dude, I don't know, like Chernobyl, like did something, but wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So anyway, so this is a thing
Talking
that
about
happened.
boobs, Harry.
This is a thing that happened in Los Angeles.
Happening today, a grand opening for a high-rise homeless shelter featuring apartments with skyline views, a gym, even a cafe.
Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cotaropolis joins us here in studio with details on this.
We're going to show you what $165 million will get you. It's considered affordable housing, but the cost to build this
$65 million.
It still adds up. Each unit costs nearly $600,000.
$600,000 per unit. $165 million.
And it's being funded by taxpayers.
Of course.
Take a look at the images here. There are 278 units in this 19-story development known as the Weingart Tower. It's intended to help people currently without shelter on Skid Row. This will be LA's largest permanent supportive housing project. There is an entire floor of offices for caseworkers, and the list of amenities is pretty impressive.
There's your art
as you
studio.
mentioned. There's a gym, an art room, a music room, and a computer room and library. People living here will enjoy 6 common balconies and a cafe. The 106.
What could possibly go wrong, Jack?
Oh God.
Not to mention when you saw the interior of the dwellings themselves, $600,000 for that.
I'm a civil engineer by profession.
Do tell.
I've done a lot of work on projects that are affordable housing, like this project. And affordable housing, flat out, doesn't work. It just doesn't work. There's a very famous project called Pruitt-Igoe, and basically what happened was
we talked about that one night.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The short story is set up a whole bunch of buildings, paid all the money for it, but then the funding runs out on the maintenance, and they all go to hell. The fact is that poor people. I know this is gonna sound rough, but poor people are poor for a reason most of the time. Some of the times it's just bad circumstance. But that really doesn't matter if you're filling a building full of those people. Because the people who are poor for a reason are going to show their true colors, and they're going to destroy the place. And that's all there is to it. Affordable housing just doesn't work.
Well, and if it's like a halfway house kind of thing, because it sort of sounds like they're going to use it that way, making it a little too nice makes it so nobody wants to leave.
Yeah, and they're gonna
looking for a job, looking hard.
Yeah, they're gonna turn it into a shitter. That's ultimately what's gonna happen.
Well, they could just fill it full of visitors, right? Yes. AKA migrants, and then the goats can graze out on the balcony or whatever. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, there have been instances of people like that having livestock, taking them into luxury hotels.
Well, what city is this in?
L.A.
Yeah, it's
it's doomed. It's doomed.
Wait, Harry. I thought that the biggest breaking story news about this was that they did build it with the promises that this was going to be the homeless shelter, whatever. But they're giving. I thought they were giving the units to the Zerg.
I don't know, but they're going to build more of them. This is the first of several, or many. They're just going to keep building them until there are no more homeless people in the United States, because clearly, if you do something like this and just start handing out housing, there's no reason for any homeless person somewhere else not to just come to LA. And I don't think they've thought this through, because it's not like, oh, there's 1,000 homeless people. If you build 1,000 beds, then that'll solve that problem. No, you'll build 1,000 beds, then you'll build 1,000 more, then you'll build 10,000 more, and you will never be able to keep up with the demand.
And And the thing is that the economy isn't just there as an obstacle. It's an incentive structure. It's an incentive structure that builds itself. So if you put weird things, weird bypasses into the incentive structure, you're going to get weird side effects. And that's what's going to happen to this building, is you're going to see a lot of weird side effects.
And I know the cost is 600,000 or whatever, or that's their value, but given today's prices, that's not a lot.
That's not a lot to build them, or that's not a lot to buy them.
Well, I don't exactly know if that's the cost or the evaluation of the unit. But either way, it's still a lot less than what they are in today's pricing. As far as I've
the biggest problem is what's the bill that's going to be footed on taxpayers?
Oh, you already said it was like 175 million or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Ridiculous.
So yeah,
and should never have happened. I mean, if the government, see, where I stand is, if the government wants to inspire growth and get building companies to build more, maybe more air quotes affordable housing or whatever, then don't hand them dump trucks full of money. Say, okay, well, if you did these kinds of projects, we'll give you tax breaks.
Yeah,
you're contributing a service versus cold hard cash by a tax. So what I mean, to me, it's kind of like a win-win trade-off, and it still leaves the market open for a company to say, well, no, or to say to the taxpayer, oh, well, we're not just taking your money and giving it to people that we're in bed with for stupid fucking projects. They might still be stupid fucking projects, but we're not taking it from you. We're allowing them to operate with a little bit less involvement in the tax process, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. But
I might have a bit of an unpopular opinion. I don't know. It's
Sorry, I'm appreciating my pun that I put in the chat. Cannibalistic Wizard said, so much copper is going to get done, and is going to get stolen. And I said, see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
What were you gonna say, Gio?
Chemistry pun. Lol.
So, immigration aside, because we've already kind of mentioned that there was a system that existed for a long time. It was considered abusive, so we got rid of it, but it functioned for a reason, and that was the trifecta of prison, work camps, and insane asylums. And
yes,
honestly, that's what needs to come back if we're going to actually resolve a lot of these issues. Maybe we can put a lot of new policies in place. We have new ways of keeping track of abuse and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where, if you want to try and fix the problem, that's what's going to have to be required.
I feel that's just a stopgap issue, especially with the air quotes insane asylums, the mental health facilities. Because especially in today, there are just some places where the rule of law does not matter.
Hi, Sora.
Hey, Sora.
Hey,
Capybara.
We were talking about government boondoggles, and so, of course, Sora probably heard that and showed up.
And there's just some places, and we can think of 100 examples just off the top of our head in recent news where the law is just not being enforced. The laws exist, but they're just not being fucking enforced. And I think that we obviously, it's kind of cliche, it's a ground up problem, that if we get the rule of law working how it should be, and then we could but again, I'm still very apprehensive of putting that kind of power in the hands of government, of anything, especially anything beyond the municipal.
I don't
disagree with you, but it is kind of like it. I always felt that it was a stopgap measure, but once they uncorked that, yeah, you saw it flood every street in the West. Your country, my country, the UK, Australia, it happened across the West. It's not specific to a country, so they did serve a purpose.
The problem is that there is a mentality about so-called civil rights for people who operate basically outside of society completely, or I should say, interrupt society in some way. It started with the mental health facilities getting shut down, in part because there were minor problems that got elevated over time. The mental health facilities got overcrowded, and then there were civil rights actions that basically argued that people weren't able to be involuntarily committed because being involuntarily committed was a violation of their civil rights.
Yeah.
And the fact is that if you're basically living in a ditch and eating your own feces and scaring the neighbors, that putting you in a place involuntarily is a violation of your civil rights. Well, I'm sorry, you're a danger to yourself. But then that mentality extends all the way to the prison population, which is basically that putting you in prison or forcing you to work in the fields because you're part of a prison is a violation of your civil rights. And so what happens is there are ways that we either stop actually punishing these people in certain ways, or just avoid putting them in the prisons altogether. And so this so-called ethics is really just a complete breakdown of society. I'm sorry, but some people need to be restrained in some way to create a cohesive society.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but there is something missing in that, again, to my point, that the rule of law was not being upheld. And that means that a lot of these people that were forcefully or against their will committed to these facilities did not go through the proper judicial channels. It was like, oh, this doctor said that this person's insane, they get thrown into this ward or whatever. Like not every case, but there were enough that it made it a problem. And so the SJW assholes who kind of ruined it, that you were alluding to, rode that wave and used those people as an example to also then apply that to the people, like you said, who were a danger to themselves or others. And yeah, that guy eating his own feces in a ditch in this town or this city, well, I can already think of 5 laws that he's already breaking just by doing what he's doing. You know, there's indecent exposure, there's relieving yourself in public. These are laws that just, you know, he should have been, and what you would see in, crime serials or like Law and Order type shows is you would see the person go to trial and then be like, well, this person's obviously crazy, so bang, bang, he's going to spend his time in this facility. That never happened. It was mostly just, okay, this person's obviously crazy. We're going to have an evaluation from some sort of medical person, and then they get committed. There was no legal jurisprudence within that because that was sort of abdicated to. It's a whole big thing. It was just the and again, to me, my personal opinion as looking at this and reading up on it as much as I have, at least here, the majority of it had to do with the fact that it was extrajudicial, and that caused so many problems.
It's kind of one of the reasons why I think that's why I mentioned with the modern technology that we've got and kind of some of the awareness that we have of what happened previously. I'm not saying we could make it. We could fix every problem, but we could probably help scrub out some of those situations from occurring if we tried doing it again. That's bad.
Well, it's more than one problem. Okay, so there's the issue of there's people who are just sort of on the margins, right? They're on the margins because maybe they don't have the right kind of marketable skills, or it's just some circumstance thing. For whatever reason, they have trouble making it economically. And if housing is expensive, they're on the bubble, right? So that's one group of people that we may want to try to help somehow.
Yeah.
And I just said may before anybody, jumps on my dick about this. Okay, I'm not being a commie, I promise. There's people who are self-harming, with drugs and alcohol and things like that. And then there's people who are legitimately mentally ill, right? And the solution for all 3 of those groups is kind of different. But the main thing is,
Really?
if
It's not all just pride parades?
if affordability is the issue, Jack, I could ask you, and I'm not going to because it would be like 2 hours of conversation. What are the things we should do to make housing more affordable? Full stop. That is like a real conversation, right? That'll just take too long. But I can tell you the one thing you wouldn't do. If you're short on housing, you do not let millions and millions and millions of people into your country, because that will drive the price up. And that means that the people who are here that are on the margins are being directly hurt by the visitors.
It's not just that it will drive the price up. It will drive out all of the lower cost housing, which people need, which the lower classes, the lower income housing, those people need it. And the people who are just starting out, the younger generations, they need that affordable. Not affordable housing in quotation marks.
Starter housing.
They need those starter houses.
They need to be not renting as soon as possible.
Yes.
But, so before anybody gets mad at me for using the term visitor, because it's stupid and I don't use their speech intentionally, the reason I'm doing it is because of this. Home security system leads to 4 arrests in Palo Alto burglary case. 4 people suspected of breaking into and burglarizing an unoccupied home in Palo Alto on Saturday have been arrested. Officials said the home resident, a woman in her 60s, spotted the suspects remotely through her home security system. She was overseas. And they're describing these as 4 visitors from, at least that was the title they had. They changed it. Originally, the title of this was 4 visitors from Chile arrested in Palo Alto home burglary. But now I see that the title is Home Security System Leads to 4 Arrests. Silly me. What was I doing? Copying down the title of what the article was like several hours ago, but now they've removed the reference. Have they even forgotten that these people are not from this country? Did they even mention that they're visitors now? Let's go through this really quickly. Huh? No, it's completely disappeared. It's as if they just, the whole part about them basically being 4 guys from Chile who are just coming in and burglarizing houses has disappeared from the article.
And who's the publication?
Wow.
This is Fox TV 2 out of San Francisco. Actually, Oakland is where their transmitter is. Speaking of Oakland,
in the city.
KTVU's Amanda Quintana here in the studio with the latest developments. Amanda?
Yeah, and we continued to learn more this morning. We've been seeing video of these agents going in and out of Mayor Sheng Tao's home yesterday morning, carrying boxes and bags from the home. The FBI has been...
The FBI raided the house of Oakland's mayor and a whole bunch of her family members.
Mm-hmm. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
I know. It's pretty amazing. Her family have a whole bunch of businesses. It looks like one of them's like a data, like a shredding business and a bunch of other things. And I looked at, her former chief of staff has basically said that there were a lot of things that looked really inappropriate and she got the hell out of there in 2023. But of course, people lie about these things all the time, right? But it's looking like, and this is somewhat hearsay, that money may have been sort of laundered through her family's businesses and then sent to her as campaign donations. Oopsie doopsie. Yeah. Good times.
Oh no.
So Oakland is a shithole, and yeah. I think it's hilarious that the article that I was going to talk about with the 4 visitors from Chile got rewritten.
Can I just say, I thought that the horrible part about that was referring to these people as visitors.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious because we're not allowed to say, thugs, criminal gangs coming across the border and then burglarizing Americans' homes.
That's like austere religious scholar levels of bullcrap.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to be a country, Harry.
We used to be a country. Well,
we live in a society.
So Trump's appeal of gag order and hush money case dismissed by New York's highest court. So just for some context, when you have these sorts of hush orders around trial. Usually, once the trial's over, you know, after they've been found guilty, the guilt or innocence has been determined, those get lifted. The whole idea of any type of hush order is so that you can get a fair trial. But they've come up, they've created some new thing out of whole cloth where they've decided that mean words are being said and that he's inciting something. They're trying to claim that they're not safe, right? The people who work in the court system. So they're taking the guy who's leading in the polls as a presidential candidate and preventing him from talking about the prosecution, which he feels is unjust. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Is anything in this trial like within the bounds of convention of actual law?
When experts aren't sure what the trial is about, you have a problem.
They don't know what it's about. They don't know what he's on trial for. The people still don't know what he was on trial for, and there's no nothing that happens in the trial makes sense in any other case.
Well, we do have at least a rough idea what he was on trial for. He's on trial for being Trump.
He is on trial for being Trump.
Yeah.
Oh God, can I find that?
Yeah.
I mean, this
have
is
an
a
image
judge
for
that
Sora that I need to
explicitly
share.
told the jury to ignore the rule of law in deciding the case.
Yeah.
It is pretty amazing.
Well, it's one of those things where people are wondering also if that judge is going to eventually like step down soon and become like some kind of guest talker for like CNN or something, you know. And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure his daughter can get him a job.
Oh yeah, don't worry, the book deal is coming soon.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, good times. So I found a it's people kayaking. That's fun. So is it ridiculously hot where you are, Functional?
No, not really.
So they talk about this heat bubble that's like in all these different places, and I'm not experiencing it. Are you experiencing it, Sora?
Nope.
Yeah. It
was like kind of chilly and overcast today, actually.
In Silicon Valley, it was like mid 80s. Actually pretty nice. But in the rest of California, where you're not sort of on the coast or near the bay, it was closer to 100. And people are whining and complaining about it. It's definitely been a problem.
Californians complaining?
Oh, yeah, we complain about everything. Good times.
It means just the world keeps turning.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Let's see if I can share this with you. Did I show you this meme?
The Canadian Weather Service thing also decided that instead of going with, the traditional heat map where they show you where, the temperatures are fluctuating and all that, the entire map of Canada is just red now.
Do you like that,
different
Sora?
shades of red.
I like it very
much. Okay.
Yep.
And also this one.
I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Old Slick Willie had a loss of interest there.
I think I'm gonna go break me off a piece of that pudding pop after the show.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I could stare at a fat ass that won't stop making noise anytime I want. Poor Hillary. Good times.
I miss Bill.
Oh yeah, the same guy who did that meme also did this, which is Jill Biden but with Alice Cooper's face.
What people don't see is how hard Joe works every single day. That he gets up thinking what he can do for the American people. So I see that strength and that
Alice Cooper's face works surprisingly well
steadiness
for this
every single day.
Scarily
His integrity, his character has not changed, and he's unwavering. He's unflappable.
Oh yeah.
It is funny that they picked Alice Cooper because Alice Cooper is like probably.
Oh God, this one's terrible.
Oh no.
I did good drivers, but we had 2 licenses, and when we got our driver's license,
we each had to take the test.
We both passed.
When we drive, Barry is control of the gas and the brake.
And then we both
steer, obviously. And then I'm in charge of the clicker.
The blinker.
So.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a little guilty.
Now I feel sad. That one just makes me feel.
It's a lot. It's a lot, isn't it? Okay, so I found, with the loss of Ricada, LawTube, I don't know if it's ever going to quite recover, right? And there are some good voices out there to help make things make a little bit more sense. I like Jonathan Turley, but he's so in with Fox that he might seem a little too partisan sometimes. I mean, I think he's walking the line pretty well, but we need more than just Jonathan Turley. So I found a new, as in like pretty darn new YouTube channel with a guy who actually knows what he's talking about. I'm going to give everybody the link, and I'm not claiming that he's always going to be right about everything, or that he's, he's going to tell you what you want to hear or whatever. But I get the impression that he's trying to be nonpartisan. Okay. And his name is Professor Jed Rudenfeld, and he is a Yale Law School professor on Constitutional Scholar. And so far, all of the stuff that I've seen on his channel has actually been pretty darn interesting and pretty good. He's brand new, and he doesn't seem to be a complete asshat. So if you were getting your analysis from Ricada, here's a replacement. Or if you're just looking for another voice from somebody that actually seems to know what he's talking about.
To be fair, and I'll say this to somebody I think I was probably watching him last before I eventually stopped, and then everything happened. He kind of stopped talking about law stuff for before all this blew up. But yeah, no. There's another guy I watch. I don't know. There's a lot of I'm kind of leery of a lot of the law tubers after certain things that have happened, but potentially criminal is not a bad one. I'm not entirely sure if he's a little too close to the drama in my opinion, but at the same time, like some of his takes have been pretty good, I thought. So.
Oh, Assassin's saying it was 98 degrees in western Pennsylvania. Yeah, anything with a 9 in front of it is the suck, as far as I'm concerned. I do not like the heat. Really I just don't. Sorry.
I get all my information on every topic from
TikTok
Dave Packman because he is the most trustful voice on YouTube.
You should get it from TikTok. So
well, he's on TikTok, so
yeah. So this is a story that sort of came across. 13-year-old takes mother's BMW to his girlfriend's house.
Nice.
Pull over now! Give me the belt.
A 13-year-old boy turned off the Wi-Fi to disable his mom's cameras. He took her brand new BMW to his girlfriend's house.
I mean, that's what you do. You disable the Wi-Fi so there's no security, right? That's thing one. And then thing two is you just get in your mom's car and you drive to your girlfriend's house because you're 13 and, that's like 8th grade, right?
Life's your oyster.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Pull over now!
They even brought a belt for him.
She's handling it well.
Give me the belt.
And he is a dead kid.
He will never leave that house ever again.
The sibling.
But why did she put this on the internet?
What do y'all think his punishment was?
The sister?
She's gonna.
I think it's the
him
sister, and the sister thinks this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Oh,
she's gonna
if I was the
beat
sibling,
his
yes.
ass with that belt.
Yeah.
I would throw him in front of traffic. That's it. We'll make another.
They already have another one. So
Well, I don't know if there's a broader point to be made about where's dad in all this, because I can't imagine being that kid and if my dad was alive thinking that this was a good idea. Because, the whole division of torture thing, like, mom, you can get in trouble with mom, but it's really like dad's like the boogeyman. It's like, if you really, really step out of line, then dad comes in and he's like the executioner.
Well, he's at work or deployed or something because she asked the girl filming, probably her daughter, hand me the belt. And you can see that is a man's belt, a man's leather belt. So she is going to rip his ass out of that car and beat his ass on that highway.
She's going to go full Singapore on him. Yeah.
And then he's got to pay the piper when he meets dad.
God, I would hope so.
This kid needs to get the absolute shit kicked out of him. Otherwise, he's never going to learn his lesson.
Although Mom's BMW, I think maybe they got divorced, and this was the gift that she gave herself because she was she wanted to cheer herself up.
She's already driving another really nice.
Could be the sister's car if the sister's older.
Yeah.
But the other thing is kind of like, I don't know.
We don't know.
It's the whole thing of like a BMW's. I have to wonder, are they operating on debt? Like that's my other question because that's. I don't know. I have more financial questions at this point than
I don't know either. But I want to give you some counterpoint from the olden times. This is. The mayor of Mayberry, the sheriff of Mayberry RFD, dealing with a similar situation.
Arnold was warned and continued to ride his bicycle on the sidewalk. Now we're going to impound that bicycle. He learns to use it according to regulation.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Sheriff, can't you see this
Broken
is a
windows
very
policing.
sensitive child? Obviously, you don't understand him. Arnold's a good boy. You just don't understand him.
Now, if we don't teach children to live in society today, what's going to happen to them when they grow up?
For heaven's sake, Sheriff, the boy's not a criminal.
Mr. Winkler, would you like to continue this father and son discussion in quiet?
Huh?
I say, would you like to continue this in quiet? There's a real nice woodshed out back.
Woodshed?
Mm-hmm.
Good old-fashioned woodshed?
Real nice one.
Come on, Arnold.
So there's a part of that clip that's missing, but there's where the kid basically like he threatens to put the dad in jail, and the kid's like, "Go ahead, my dad's tough," and that's how it leads to this situation.
Nice.
I did a little Google machining. She did, in fact, and that was the sister who was it. She was tweeting about this the whole time.
Live tweeting
Mom,
her.
yeah, mom did beat his ass. He was in the car with a friend, right there in the passenger side, watching his friend get his ass beat by his mom. And
so did the friend also live stream him getting his ass beat? Because that would have been great.
No.
Oh.
And dad is definitely also in the picture.
Oh, that kid's in so much trouble.
He's apparently, grounded for life, but was allowed to ask his girlfriend to homecoming.
Huh.
But parents refused to let her go with him after they found. Oh, and this is not the first time he's done this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
Probably hence the belt. Probably hence the belt. She was just like, okay, enough is enough. This kid just needs a severe and swift beating.
If they have a backyard, they need to get a woodshed. That's just for the kid. There won't be any wood in it.
The threat is that out of fashion? Like, I'm going to send you to military school. Does that threat ever come
Not
true?
in my book.
Because he would probably be a good candidate.
Have you seen modern military schools?
No.
Well,
My dad used that threat on me one time, and when I called his bluff, say do it. It sounds like fun. He'd never threaten me again.
You probably would have done great.
I like that kind of structure.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed it in high school, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least it'll be a full family effort behind whatever they decide. I'm sure.
Well, anyway.
I think it's worse the fact that he had a friend in the car.
Yeah.
Friend, either it was I'm sure was terrified in a moment, but then afterwards we're like, oh my god, you're so lame. You got beaten by your mom. I think that hit to his social credit would have been worse.
Yeah,
he's
probably.
only 13. Good luck in high school, kid.
Well,
5 more years.
Let's do one quick Elon thing, and then we'll get on to the climate protesters. Elon Musk. Okay, looks like Elon Musk just added Melinda French Gates to his list of billionaires' ex-wives who might be the downfall of Western civilization.
Because of his tweet the other day.
Yeah, that's because of his tweet the other day.
Well, her and
right,
ex of Bezos have been funding a lot of activist movements. So it's one of those things where it's like,
okay, serious question, slightly serious question. They have all this money. Is this funding? By funding, is that a way of like laundering their money?
No,
like,
it's virtue signaling for their rich friends.
Is that all? Because like, what a waste.
Yeah, I would start my own space program, start putting animals up there. Just, there's a lot of things I could do with money.
Literally, like, you can do like the homegrown, like you guys were talking about when I walked in about, have local help for people who need it, right? How about we do that stuff instead of, soup kitchens?
Because Bill Gates is objectively evil and thinks people are his plaything and are beneath him and uses them as experimental creatures.
Can I just
I can't speak to Melinda, but Bill definitely is.
Why is there this weird place in society for the wives of people who are actually doing like actual work? Like, who gives a crap about Bill Gates' wife?
Because she's got a ton of money now.
They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything of value. Forget how big a piece of crap Bill Gates is. Who gives a crap about his wife?
Well, it's like the women who you say you'll address me by my husband's rank. It's that same energy.
Just tell these people they didn't do anything. Shut up and get out of the way.
Yeah, but they can buy attention. You're right. Like, I mean, people who have done nothing and contribute nothing really, like, oh well, don't pay attention to them.
But the thing is that so they are in a position now with the alimony or whatever that they've received, right, through the divorce, yes, okay, it's not necessarily it's not their money from the beginning, right? Because the majority of that's going to come from whatever foundation or background of their ex-husband. But they are now in that unique position where they can make something for themselves, right? Because the money's now theirs legally. You're taking that, start investing in something that's really good, that's helpful, that's not, whatever. But obviously, as you were saying, virtue signaling seems to be the only thing that they care about, which is so dumb. I don't know. It is a little bit infuriating. Or say, okay, alternatively, just get yourself a villa somewhere, a little bit of water,
you cats,
bit of beach, like a slice of beach, somewhere beautiful, and just live there nicely, right? For a few years. And then if you get bored, I don't know, take up competitive ostrich farming. I don't know, something. You're eccentric. You have eccentricity money. Be that. That's what I would like to do, right? That's where I would see if I was in their position. But I suppose societally speaking, they can't necessarily just go away, but
one of the things too also is like just look at kind of where the average person is in terms of like some of the drama that's going on online now with let's say, how do I put this, women who want to have that higher social status and the way they behave, and then I just figure, then you have somebody like Melinda Gates or the
ex of Bezos, and it's like I kind of feel like they're all kind of cut from the same cloth, you know. So it's
well, you know about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? So
Yeah.
they were both involved in politics, and now that they're separated, she's just going to keep doing what she's going to do because virtue signaling is really important right now.
Yeah. Well, there was a video, I believe it was Sugar Tits actually put out covering a case with a girl who was doing, and this is something kind of related but kind of separate. There's a girl who has OnlyFans and she does this podcast with her brother. And
Oh, yeah.
it's all kind of staged drama, but there was a video that came out where the brother basically was telling me, you know, like, look, I'm being bullied at school for this stuff and it affects me and you don't care. And she kind of was like, I didn't think it would affect you. And I mean, he walked off stage crying, and a lot of people were kind of debating, you know, was that just ramped up drama? Was it real? And I'm sitting there kind of going like, I mean, I think it's real. I think these people just, this is how they function. And I mean, and I'm not just talking about the kid, I'm talking about her. And I'm sitting there kind of going like, I mean, she's an extreme case, but I kind of feel like it's the same, again, cut from the same cloth, like with the whole thing of funding for activist movements or funding for all this other crap. Because it's just, I don't know. I mean, I think there's just something fundamentally broken with some of these people, and that's they don't actually care about anything other than just, you know, getting as much attention as possible. And yeah, but it's just a shame.
Now to this incredible story. Porch pirates duke it out for a box right after it's delivered, and it is caught on camera. This happened in Sinking Spring Borough, Pennsylvania, while the residents were home. The two men had pulled up in separate cars. One picked up a flower pot to fend off the attack. The homeowner says the box contained a phone from AT&T.
Yeah, the provocative question is, did they know about that? By the way, I did say some words introducing this, but I didn't realize I was muted. So sorry that just suddenly started playing. Here you go.
Yeah.
You happy
it's
now,
entirely
Geodes?
possible that they would know, because I did see 2 videos this week. One of a warehouse worker who opened a box and saw a bunch of MAGA hats, the red ball caps, and was admitting that she's just going to like go hide it or throw it out or something. And I did see another one where same kind of woman was saying how she was going to tell her boyfriend about it. And the conversation on Twitter was that she means that she works in the Amazon warehouse and takes stock of the pricier stuff to obviously tell. But what she means by tell her boyfriend is tell her boyfriend who does things like this, and will have the list of these places where packages are getting delivered to intentionally steal the higher value stuff. Amazon's got a real problem within there right now. If these are more than just isolated cases, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that people don't know about this stuff.
Yeah.
Or when companies get hacked and they find not really like super important data like credit card numbers or anything, but like purchase histories, and they can find out, oh, well, this street or this building or this house or whatever gets a lot of packages delivered, so this is a good area to terrorize and to
AI is going to be a great tool for thieves.
Well, this is also why I think the companies are going to shift more and more towards automation, because it's just like that. Yeah, if the rank and file behave in such a way where they help encourage stuff like this as well, then there's no reason to keep them employed.
Yeah. So, Sora.
Yes.
Since you are here, I don't have to put this this next thing off. Oh wait, we have to talk about the climate protesters because it's in the thumbnail, and I always feel stupid when I don't cover the thumbnail thing. So we all know about these idiots, right?
Oh yes.
They showed up at Stonehenge
the
and
new
put
one.
orange stuff on the monuments.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Now, they're claiming that it wasn't actually orange paint, that it was some sort of orange cornstarch thing that wasn't going to permanently damage them. But I still think these people need to just be, if they do any real damage to something, that the penalties need to be really harsh. And people say that like, for instance, if Skep was here, he'd probably be calling for capital punishment, right? And he might be right.
I think I was only half jokingly made the comment of, like, bring back the old Roman and Judaic like executions at Stonehenge or something.
Yeah.
I would take these people, air quotes people, because they're barely that, and I would dress them up in goat costumes and deliver them fucking backwoods of India or something.
Well, much like with the homeless thing we were talking about, part of the issue is I don't want to see people brought up on decency charges, like public decency necessarily, because that's a very slippery slope. But when people take public land, which belongs to no single person, and essentially say, this is mine now, that is like an offense. And when people do stuff to these monuments, they're basically saying, no, my rights supersede the rights of all of humanity. Whether it's this painting or anything else, it's my issue is the thing that's important. And any kind of like taking of like something that's public like this, I think it needs to be treated pretty harshly. Because there are things that they can do to these monuments and paintings and things for which there is no remedy, right? They can cause damage that there's nothing they can do to undo it. So I really feel like we need some serious punishment that fits these crimes, especially when they're high value things. Something like this really is more like a public tantrum. But if there's any actual lingering damage to these monuments, they need to get some serious punishment.
Oh, I would just kill them.
It's like what's going on in Utah, up near what was the Moab. There's a park up there that has these rock formations where they form natural arches all over the park.
Oh
There are
God.
these people that are coming over with basically I don't know what, not like saws or anything. I forget what they're called exactly, but they actually like hack their names into these arches, or they cut the arches apart because they think it's funny. And it's one of those things where they've had some real problems with that stuff.
It doesn't belong to them.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It absolutely does not belong to them, and that should, especially for crimes where it's hard to catch people and prosecute them. If only 1% of the people are going to get caught, I think the penalty needs to be 100 times the damage of the crime.
Yeah.
Just make the individuals who do get caught just bear the whole weight of it.
Yeah.
I'm big on deterrence, and people say deterrence doesn't work. I'd like to give deterrence a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm right.
I mean, look at Singapore.
Yeah.
They don't have a drug problem.
Or a litter problem, or a number of problems.
Bring back public hanging.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah.
But no, I'm with you with this one. The fuck, anything where you're, especially if it's something with so much meaning and history, just public example. And not only that, can we start naming and shaming in general for crimes again? I don't know about if you guys, but here they have stopped publishing names. They have stopped publishing photos, even if it's someone who has been convicted in the past. Like, you can't Google for shit. And if they've ever actually released a name and you try to look up to see if there's old photos or stuff, they have disappeared. And good luck if it's like a repeat offender. You might get a face and photo if they're released back into a vulnerable neighborhood.
Yeah.
But
Well, remember the
that's it.
Covington kids? They gave those names out right away, didn't they?
Yeah. Rules for thee, but not for me and mine.
Yeah. So, Sora, I wanted to ask you about there's a new core, a new style thing.
Oh.
And clearly I can't talk about this with these guys, they don't understand this stuff, but I know that you are reliable when it comes to these things. Okay, so the new thing is Grandpa Core. So goodbye Coastal Grandmother, hello Grandpa Core. And supposedly it's like, it looks to me like it's just a bunch of women wearing their grandfather's sweaters, which I'm not against, mind you. But and they're saying to do it properly, instead of spending a bunch of money, you really just need to get hand-me-downs from one form or another. What do you think about this sort of comfy sweater thing?
Oh, 100%. Do it. I do it right now. Apparently I'm ahead of the trend.
Yeah.
I've done this for years. I love that stuff. I have so many like men's cardigans and sweaters and stuff that I've taken from family.
I think these jeans are a little too big for her. I don't think they're supposed to go directly under her cleavage. I mean, there's high-waisted and there's whatever that is.
I'm too common core to understand this.
That's very funny, Geodes.
Mm-hmm.
But some of this is pretty terrible. But the stuff that's in this one here, I don't mind this.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's perfectly comfortable. That looks really cozy.
Although wearing
I would take
these
that on a plane.
shoes, this guy, he needs to be punched in the balls right here for wearing those shoes with that outfit. That's a bit much. But sort of texturally and stuff as a thing, this looks okay.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Chunky knit corduroy trousers. Check. Next.
Yeah,
I've got a few of both those. Oh, this is great. I love this. Wait. This kind of stuff is academia. The light academia.
Well, there's no patches. There's no patches on the shoulders, so you got to have leather patches on the shoulders, I think, for academia, don't you?
On the blazer, sure.
Yeah, and they have blazers.
But you could still. This is an offshoot of the academia. Look at this, suede loafers. Yeah. No. Polo top. Okay, here you go. The wax jacket, beautiful. Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Vest, back vest. I love vests.
Yeah, you would probably like. God, what is it? I can't remember the name of the. Bellstaff. Probably the Bellstaff stuff might appeal to you. I know about it because they make actual motorcycle gear, but they've also turned into some weird high fashion European thing where they make ridiculously expensive men's and women's clothing. But be as it may, I thought this was a great introduction to our final story of the night. Shirtless Bill Belichick seen sneaking from 24-year-old girlfriend's home in newest dating twist. So Bill Belichick, the man on the right, is dating this woman who's 24 on the left. And it seems to have really annoyed a lot of people because of the age difference. I can't really be bothered to care all that much, but there's the fact that there's Ring door cam footage of him shirtless running out of her house. I don't know where they obtained that from, but sure, maybe not the classiest way for a guy his age to be behaving.
That's kind of funny, but yeah, no, it's cringe.
Yeah, I mean, she's fit.
Girl, come on.
She's fit. It's fine. I don't see where there's really an issue here with him having a much younger girlfriend. He's got the income to support it. It's fine.
Well, people always assume that it's an income thing, when I have to say maybe there's another reason. Like, for example, maybe he's really funny in real life, or maybe she has daddy issues.
Well,
have you ever considered that she has tremendous daddy issues?
I have considered that, Jack. Let me present her ex-boyfriend, who is a 64-year-old retired man. Bill Belichick's girlfriend's ex sends eye-opening message on cheerleader's past. So according to her ex, who they dated for a little while, she's actually very smart. They talk about like serious things. He was in biotech, and they got along just fine, could hold a conversation, and just sort of went their separate ways. So she seems to like older gentlemen and not be a complete idiot. I wouldn't choose this for me. I wouldn't choose this for my sister. You know, it would give me the ick if my sister was 24 dating some old guy. But I find the amount of annoyance that people are having over Bill Belichick enjoying his 70s to be really kind of funny.
Listen,
and if the sexes were reversed, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird, but they're adults
Yeah.
in their own. You know, she's got a career. She's like her cheerleader or whatever the heck she is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like on a fundamental level, I definitely get the ick for like the age difference. My thing is, and this was a question that was posed at one point that I kind of heard, and it's a decent question, is that at what point are consenting adults allowed to date other consenting adults? Is kind of the question. You know, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, unless you want to start trying to force weird laws, and I don't know. The other question is who's complaining. That's the other thing.
Oh,
the
just
media is complaining.
The
And
nattering
feminists.
nabobs of negativity. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's and as if we needed another reason to hate the fucking mainstream media, the corporate media. You look through some of those stories and you'll notice the pictures where they're not together, the pictures where it just shows the cheerleader, it's always when she was like 18, 19. They intentionally show much younger pictures to vilify the man that they're talking about.
Yeah.
I saw an entire rabbit hole on Reddit, and they were just like, it was just like, okay, here's the couple in question of like the most recent picture we can take of them. Now here's the picture from XYZ publications of them solo, and it's almost always the man like as he is as like right now, and then the woman is like 3 or 4 or 5 years younger than she is there in the photo they're presenting. It's fucking disgusting.
They try to make the gap look as big as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
Well, this is them
Yeah,
together
that I
in
don't
the
like.
current times, and her ex says that she behaves like somebody who's much older mentally than she appears to be, just based on the calendar. Whatever his reasons for doing it, it seems kind of like his business. I don't know why people are so hateful about it. Like I said, I wouldn't do it.
Because there's an age difference, and then there's, dear God, Susan, why the fuck are you fucking grandpa? That's just so weird. And I'm pretty open about like, you know, love who you love in that kind of regard, but like it's really fucking weird. You're telling me she couldn't find herself a nice, stable 40-year-old, 45-year-old?
Well,
I know that a lot of men are turning into
Maybe a guy, a professional guy in California, you know, who's like in his 50s, possibly.
There you go.
Okay, so seriously, we've seen pictures of Jeff Bezos's new girlfriend, right? And she's terrifying. She kind of scares me. And I'm just thinking, Jeff, why? But in the case of this girl, your young woman, she seems nice. I mean, she's not dressed like a thought. She just likes old guys, I think, and old guys with money even more so, you know, retired old guys. So maybe this works for her. She's done it twice now.
No.
Maybe
Harry,
this is just her thing.
Harry.
Yeah.
I have to ask the question. If Elizabeth Holmes showed up on your doorstep asking you out on a date, what would you do?
How vulnerable would she look? Because I could probably save her. That's what the bad part of my brain would be telling me. The thing is that if a cop shows up at your door and doesn't have a warrant, you don't open the door. And if Elizabeth Holmes shows up at your door and she doesn't, yeah, you just don't open the door. You just don't. You just don't open the door.
Let me put it this way, Harry. She's not putting on The Voice.
Yeah. Thank God.
That's when you know, oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. But you know, honestly, I hope they're very happy together, and it's nobody's goddamn business. But she likes Grandpa Core, and you know, if she wants to get any vintage clothes to put on, she can just go through his closet.
Well, it's the whole thing.
Nail on the head. This is the real reason she's dating him.
Just for to get into his clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what does core mean? Because I see a lot of these pages and stuff on Facebook and Twitter, like, you know, there's Obi-Wan Kenobi core, there's Karlak core.
My God.
And like, is core just like a euphemism for being a complete faggot?
I think it might be.
It's always the most annoying people you can imagine.
I think it might be derivative of the word hardcore, because you have hardcore, then softcore, and then all the other cores.
I really like that we're getting to the core of this. Just saying.
I think that if he doesn't somehow turn this into becoming the spokesman for Viagra, he's not doing it right.
Yeah. You know,
according to a Vogue article from 2022, core is the new chic.
Okay.
Sub chic for core.
It's an aesthetic, is what it is. That's all.
Yeah, it's a plain an aesthetic.
Yeah.
So instead of grandma chic, you have grandma core.
I like what chat's saying. Hardcore, this is what he said. That's gay core. Now it's lesbian core. Okay. They're embracing it.
Actually,
Hardcore Henry was an
I'm
awesome
sure there's,
movie.
like,
Oh, that's right. I need to see
lesbian
that.
Core. That's
Yeah.
probably its own thing.
Yeah. It's basically a lot of people who have the sides of their heads shaved to the point of almost being bald. You know, I mean, there is like an official lesbian haircut, isn't there? At least there used to be.
Maybe. I will say though, I agree with you though, Harry. Yeah, good for them. You know, as long as they, they're making it. As long as it's working out, and whatever.
Okay, I know this kind of makes me a hypocrite, but the fact that she doesn't give me the ick personally, I think has a lot to do with my opinion. You know, if she was scary like Bezos's new squeeze, I would probably feel different. I would feel like she's a predator taking advantage of him. I think they just have an arrangement. It's all very European.
No, exactly. It's very possible. Like, hey, for the next 6 months, I'm gonna take you out.
Yeah.
Eat stuff.
So who's
buy you things.
it's the Gilbert Grape guy, the Titanic guy. What's his name? The actor.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Doesn't Leonardo DiCaprio just have like these serial 4-year relationships with young women? Is he the one that's famous for that?
Yeah, I think it's like the joke is he only likes them till they're like 24 or something.
Yeah.
And the alarm goes off.
Yeah, I mean Leonardo DiCaprio in about 30 years is going to be this guy.
There is I have heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I have heard that there is more of a trend with some of the younger people where when they're dating, they don't really like to say they're dating somebody. Like they don't like to announce themselves as a couple. So
is it a situation or whatever?
Yeah,
Well,
it seems like
you've got situationships, then you have sneaky links.
Yeah.
Sneaky links. Wait, what?
There's no way they can be sneaky links because they're out in the public eye.
Now they were actually
point of
very
sneaky link
discreet
is
for a
that you're
year, right? Not hiding it, but they weren't really public about it. So does that make it a sneaky link?
It could be. Yeah, it could be. I would say at that time, and now that they're found out, they're no longer that. Now it's more possible situationship, depending. Yeah. But if they're seen in public a lot like this, then no, it'll be more of a relationship.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do know that's more common with the younger folks these days. So.
I hate myself for knowing that. Just a little bit.
Yeah, Leonardo on their 25th birthday just sends them out to a pasture where they can be reunited with their.
Oh, Jack's gotta go.
Jack's gotta go.
Jack's gotta sleep.
Weak. That's just those words are just weakness escaping from your body. We're actually about to end things. So
okay.
So just give me another minute. So anything else before we go?
Nope.
Well said. Thank you. Keep it classy. Well, this has been your Minions of the Zoo for Saturday. Thank you, Pam.